Hi, welcome to Comic Talk. I'm Drew.
I'm Christina.
This is our pull list review for the week of June 29th.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so we got 4 today. We have Jupiter's Legacy, Volume 2, Number 1. We have 4 Kids Walk Into a Bank, Number 2. Have Black Panther, Number 3. And Bloodshot Reborn, Number 14. So we will begin today talking about Jupiter's Legacy, Number 2. This is Mark Millar and Frank Quietly. So what occurs in Jupiter's Legacy, Volume 2, Issue 1 by Frank Quietly and Mark Millar?
Well, from what I understand, it's a continuation of Jupiter's Legacy.
Mm-hmm.
The small group of superheroes that broke off from like the dictator superheroes are gathering up some villains to then, I'm guessing, take down.
Yeah, to combat
the bad superheroes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so in the first one we saw there was like these kids of these superheroes, and they were like really disenfranchised with the whole thing, and just didn't want to do things like their parents did, whatever.
Yeah.
Of course, there was that one crooked asshole that just convinced them that this totalitarian society, whatever, was the answer.
Yeah, let's just take over.
Right. And so they rounded up most of the superheroes. A couple of them got away, and now they're kind of leading this rebellion by getting all these supervillains and leading the revolt against them. So, being the first issue of this new series, I felt it didn't quite have the same nuance that I'm used to with the series. I mean, there was a lot of just plot happening here. Like, there's a lot of things happening. We're just introducing these various supervillains that they're springing out and introducing them and whatnot.
Yeah, like I've noticed that keeps happening.
What do you mean?
With like any of these like first issues, it's just set up.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is that how it's supposed to go? Like, are we supposed to just...
I think it's kind of hard to avoid in a certain way.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, it's like you could just
can we just focus on like one thing that's happening?
I did enjoy this first little bit though, where he comes into the room and this kid's like, "Are you my dad?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Just like, sure. Yeah,
and he makes him this power rod out of like a flashlight and some tinfoil, which
sweet.
is yeah. Totally like comic book, whatever the fuck. You just take a flashlight and some tinfoil, and like because he's amazing, he can make that into this.
Which I'm not sure. Like,
thing.
I'm not sure who he is.
Sky Fox. I think his name is Sky Fox.
Okay.
Yeah, and so he had one of those power rod things, and I don't think he's like really has superpowers beyond that. He just has this little stick that can do like pretty much like whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's like Superman in flashlight form. I am super glad to have Frank Quietly back on the series because he wasn't in there for a lot of Circle. And the artist that took over for him, like, definitely... It felt like a very clear continuation of his style. Like, he wasn't trying to, like, change the look of it, whatever. But having Quietly back on there doing his own style, like, it definitely feels... How would you describe the art in this? It's a little bit dirtier than like the standard comic book kind of. Mm-hmm.
Still sticking with a little rougher, like pencil.
Mm-hmm. People's facial hair looks shitty a lot of the time, which is just great.
No, it's got details, but they're not anything that's like almost animated, but not animated. Just like the typical superhero graphic novels.
Sure.
Just the clean, crisp.
Right. Yeah. It's a little bit dirtier than that. We do get
it's rough.
More detailed than standard, but it's very pulled back and kind of restrained in a way. Like there are details there where there need to be details, I would say, and then the rest of it's just kind of standard clean. So it's this very cool like middle ground between those two things.
Yeah.
Overall, I mean, I liked it. I thought some of these villains were kind of clever. Oh, who was the one man's name? Oh yeah, Jack Frost in Antarctica.
Oh, yeah.
I like how he was just sitting out in Antarctica in like a little thong and a lawn chair with a drink with an umbrella on the top. Yeah, so a lot of them are like that, and it's really cool how Quietly was able to, almost tell us about these people with just like the one frame that they appear in.
Yep.
I mean, we already have like some notions and stuff of who these people are, and like how, like what their values are and stuff like that, just based on like how they're presented and whatnot.
Yeah.
Oh, and then Tattoo from Brazil with like the million kids. Like, I need to get the hell out of here. So whatever you need me to do, I'm totally down with it. Kind of a standard first issue, in that it was just a shit ton of plot and not a whole lot of exposition and whatnot, which is again the thing that I usually really like about the series. But it's the first issue.
I would continue it, and I would read the first Jupiter's Legacy. Just so that I actually know who these people are.
Yeah, I think they did a pretty good job. There's like this Wade page at the beginning that
was really helpful.
Yeah, so we get like the names of people and stuff like that.
Yeah, you kept having to refer back to it. It's just like, who is that?
Yeah, but I mean, for a new reader, would you say it wasn't too much to overcome, like in the general sort of sense?
No. Like, give me enough information, and if I wanted, I could just continue reading it and just not read Jupiter's Legacy, because I'm guessing it's just focusing on like kind of a new set of characters.
Well,
like mentioning past characters.
Yeah, the first Legacy, like it kind of starts out in one place and kind of ends in another. So the characters that are really central at the beginning aren't really. I mean, they're in a couple panels here, but then it kind of ends in like this future. I think it's like 2020 or something like that, where the characters that are really big in this kind of take the foreground from that point on.
Okay. Yeah.
So, yeah. Good stuff overall. Next we have the exciting second issue of Four Kids Walk Into a Bank. This is by Boss and Maurer and Rosenberg.
They don't walk into a bank.
They don't walk into a bank.
I'll see any banks.
No. They do find blueprints of a bank.
They do. And the first few pages, I thought this was them, because like I didn't read the other one.
Right.
And I was just like, what is happening? This robot's getting their head pulled off. Like, what?
Yeah.
How do you come back from that?
They're playing this very like They Live-esque video game. Like that's what these characters remind me of, like the cheesy 80s Roddy Piper movie where they wear the special sunglasses to see.
Like this one's fun.
Yeah, it's super fun.
I like it's just kind of centralized around arcade games, which it kind of tips you off of that it's going to be like, kind of just like a game where they progress to different levels, and like even just the story, it's almost like they've gotten to like level 1, and then like they find,
it's pretty analogous
like this the burger remembers information, and then it's like level 2, get the information, and
so it's been a while since been able to do this, because there was a huge amount of time between the first and second issue. But in the first one, these shady characters like show up at this girl's house and like keep asking to see her dad, and like you think like, oh shit, they're gonna get like robbed or murdered or something like that, but they really do just want to talk to him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And then so at the end of it, the kids are kind of left in the dark, like, why does your dad know these like Nazi dudes? Because one of them's got like swastika tattoos.
Oh yeah,
and
well,
shit
and
like that
kind of threw me off, because I was like, wait, what year is this? Is this?
Yeah. Well, they're neo-Nazis and whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
This issue as a whole was just very clever and funny, and it just made me laugh in like so many absurd ways. Like the fact that he remembered the license plate, because if you turn it upside down, it said asshole.
My favorite was when they all like try to find a hiding place. But also, Yeah, like what is this like internal? Like he's just like spazzing out about science. I mean,
Yeah,
like,
he's a super big science nerd. So.
Chibli eyes, like is that what it's called?
Chibli, something like that.
Yeah. When like anime, they get the huge eyes.
So, yeah, somebody he's doing in the science class, and he's like, "Oh my god, I'm doing this," and like he explains
I'm
it.
sciencing.
Like, well, what does that even mean? You know?
It's like sure, that's great.
But yeah, they're hiding
and like the angel.
Yeah, that was fantastic. It's like I can't beat him up. He's an adult. Stab him in the junk. No, I can't do that either. Like, she settles on trying to light him on fire. That has its own repercussions. It's very cleverly told, really, at that.
Yeah.
I mean, I think a lot of funny books kind of fall into the trappings of not really paying attention to how the plot unfolds or how the story progresses or anything like that. You know, it's just very standard, and then, you know, you get some one-liners here and there, and, you know, it's whatever. But this feels very, like, planned, you know? Like, they really put a lot of thought into, like, what happens when and what to divulge when and, you know, what to not divulge. And it's very well written overall. And also, I like this little bit in the middle. We get pretty standard paneling overall, but then we have this, like...
Yeah, that one...
computer scene where she's kind of looking through files and stuff.
Yeah, and you're, like, figuring out what to follow. And... Or if the... I mean, I know, like, these are connectors.
Right.
But then, like, I don't know, it almost... You could still just kind of look all over. Yeah. And still... get the information.
And the donuts are there randomly. It's opposed to this sort of like web of like information that she's like sorting through whatever on this old ass computer with a floppy disk. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure when this takes place.
I don't know.
I really like that they got a foreign exchange student and nobody has any idea if he speaks English or not.
Oh, he's just kind of there. Oh, that's great. Just divulge all of your secrets and this kid's just potentially hearing it or not hearing it.
Yeah. I mean, again, he's a foreign exchange student. He hasn't said anything thus far. He just kind of sits in the back seat and just looks. And, I mean, it's kind of awkward. You know, like, I don't know what you would do in that situation. But there's a lot of, like, awkward tension in this, which is, I think, maybe why I relate to it so much. Because it just feels lifelike. Another thing that I really love about this is just how distinct all the characters are. Like the voices are so strong. Yeah. You know, from one person to another. Like from the kid that's always fucking everything up, Burger, to like, you know, the girl who's very like, you know, take the lead, take charge kind of deal. The sciencey kid was, I mean, his words are always like real tiny, so you can assume he's like very reserved and stuff like that. But we really got a good bit with him where we're finding out like he's basically a genius, you know, so yeah, there's that. And then the kind of awkward tall dude who just kind of, you know, despite being the guy that sticks out like a sore thumb, he just kind of keeps to himself, but then still has like good ideas and stuff sometimes. And it's a great read. Art, I mean, again, like the paneling was pretty standard most of the time. Detail work's really nothing to write home about. I will say there's good branding, like in the color work. Like it all feels very cohesive. They use like a lot of.
Well, like what is? Oh.
Just kind of like.
Think of Doug.
What?
I think the guy with the when he's like at the very beginning, with the hair. I think it reminds me of somebody on Doug.
Oh,
watch Doug.
Yeah. I could see that. Yeah, but it's very, very distinct colors used throughout. Like even when they move to like, you know, warmer versus cooler colors or whatever, like it still feels like a brand, and I guess, so to speak.
Well, and like, like these look like police station colors. Just like, I mean, this uniform really blends in with the wall because it's all just kind of
blah, whatever.
Yeah, like she doesn't really want to be there, and but she does. Like it was very useful that she was there, but and I mean, looks it's my lab.
So I think the coloring is really kind of the highlight for me in this.
Yeah.
I do think it would be kind of weird if they went for a super detailed kind of look for it. So I'm glad that they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't think it would fit the tone of the book.
No.
But, yeah. Some good visual humor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or kids walk into a bank. But they don't walk into a bank.
Nope.
That's what it's called. Alright, next we have Black Panther #3 by Ta-Nehisi Coates, Brian Stelfreeze, and Laura Martin. Do you even want to try?
Well, you know what? This almost seems like it's just we're at number 1 because of how many characters
Yeah.
we looked at.
There are like 17 fucking storylines
Yeah.
going on at the same time.
Yeah.
They all have really... They have names that aren't familiar to me as a
Which,
dude
yeah,
living in the
like-
Midwest, which makes it like even harder to follow. And, you know, it's also dealing with a lot of like subject matter that I'm not 100% like comfortable with, or I mean, I don't feel like it's
Well-
something that I've really dealt with a lot of time before. We do get a bit at the beginning where he's talking about nature's relation with man and stuff, and you know, they give me like a very Swamp Thing feel, which I loved. But again, I'm not sure how it fits into like everything else. I mean, I know this village is in trouble, but
begins and ends with, yeah, like,
this dude.
yeah, this
Yeah.
like tree of life and like spirits and
Yeah. Personification of the spirit of nature or something like that.
yeah, and but all these other stories that are happening have nothing to do with destroying nature.
Yeah, no.
At least not that I could see. It looks like they're all just destroying themselves, which I don't know if that's supposed to be like
Yeah.
man and nature are supposed to be one, and like while man is destroying himself, that's still hurting nature.
Yeah.
I'm not really
The other thing
100%
is like
sure.
the spirit of nature is in opposition to our protagonist, the Black Panther guy. Like they end up like, you know, not fighting but kind of like facing off at a certain point.
Oh.
And I don't understand why.
I don't know.
Like at all.
Is he using technology?
I don't know.
Because they seem to be kind of against technology in this too.
Yeah, I know he has like the vibranium suit thing that's just a metal, and they did say that the metal like came from Africa, but I don't understand
Or is it
why.
alien metal? I guess I don't know much about
I don't-
vibranium.
I don't know. It's Captain America's shield's made of it.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
But yeah, I guess they never say where he gets it from.
Yeah, I guess he's maybe got some kind of technology in his
Yeah,
helmet here that he's working on. But I
Right.
don't fucking get it, and it's like frustrating because I've been in this for like 3 issues now. And the first one, we're like, okay, first issue, it's confusing. They're probably just trying to get a bunch of information out there, and then I'll flesh it out. And the second issue is like, well, I don't really feel any more comfortable than I did before, but, you know, Ta-Nehisi Coates is like, you know, fairly new to this whole game, so, you know, keep going and see what happens. And then I read 3, and like, this isn't even like something that I feel like in trade form I would understand.
No,
Yeah.
like I think in trade form it would confuse even more just because you're getting like the whole thing. And
Yeah.
You're just seeing, I don't know, or maybe, I don't know. I just feel like they need to stick with like 1 or 2 storylines, and even in the trade, if they could just like rearrange things.
Yeah.
And just get like a few characters, focus like, you know, so many, I guess, issues, like reorganize the issues.
Yeah,
And then
like,
put them, if they put them in a, I feel like if they put them in a different order, it could be fine.
yeah.
But as is, it's like, ooh.
And that's kind of the standard
What's
approach
happening?
is like if you have like plots and subplots, whatever, like you give them each a good amount of time when you bring them up. Like, you know, like you have plot A and plot B, and okay, like first issue's maybe 50-50, and then you
Yeah.
have like 75-25 after that, and then like maybe 90-10.
Yeah.
And then the next one you flip it around and have like the other 90 versus like the
Yeah.
other 10.
That's what needs to be happening.
But this is like 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, 10.
Yeah.
And it's been like that in every issue. Like, I just want to fucking like cut it up
Right,
and rearrange
right,
it so I
yeah.
can figure out what the fuck's going on.
I guess to the point where you just like stop caring, or you
Yeah.
have to choose who you're going to care about because it's like you're throwing too many things at me. I'm just going to
Yeah.
I don't know.
And by the end of it, I was just kind of dreading the next page. Like, what the fuck am I going to be confused about next? Right, yeah, exactly.
Because I always enjoy anything to do with, like, mythology, and
Sure.
I would love if they focus more on the spirits, or if they focus on this, like, nature-humanity struggle.
Mm-hmm.
But then they just, I don't know.
Yeah.
Just not liking this.
The art's really
mix.
cool.
Oh, yeah. It's
So,
great.
There's that.
Redeeming quality.
Yeah.
And I love, like,
Keeping the letter.
where, I mean, I knew every situation that we were in. I knew each storyline because the art, like, lets you know, like, hey, so we're in the spirit realm now.
Right.
Or we're just following this person that was a tree and is tree personified, and and oh, we're here with Black Panther in the jungle. It's like, you know exactly where you are. You just don't know why.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. Talk to Josh about whether or not we're going to continue this one. I think after 3 issues, like, I think it's fair to say
I don't know where
done.
the stopping point is.
Right,
but
yeah. Like,
I guess maybe, like, leaf through number 4, and I don't know, maybe if they're still, like, doing,
I don't know.
you know, a whole bunch of storylines, just be like, never mind.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
leave that confusion behind.
Yeah. And I feel like I'm missing out on a pretty cool story, too.
I know.
Which is, like, the worst part about it. Like, you know, I mean, given I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I feel like you would probably have to be to understand what the hell's going on.
I guess so.
So, yeah. If you understood, like, really, like, what was happening here, like, let me know. I mean, beyond, like,
like,
the bit that it gives you on the first
please.
page. And I do think it was cool that Marvel has this little, like, link that you can go to now that, you know, helps explain, like, what the fuck's going on. Because I guess a lot of people were confused about it and stuff. But as a writer, you would take a cue that your publisher had to do that, and maybe you just, like, unjumble it a little bit, you know?
Yeah.
That's just my opinion. What do I know? And lastly, we have Bloodshot Reborn, number 14. This is Jeff Lemire, Miko Sawayan, and David Barron.
They're in a, what do you call it?
An
alternate
island?
plane. Are they on a real island?
That's what they call it. It's the island.
Okay, so they're on a real island. Okay, and they, I guess I just was thinking that they were virtual. Or maybe they were on a real island, but, like, they were asleep. And this was, like, all in their minds.
I don't know. I mean, I could see that in the beginning. Like, when I first started reading this, I was like, okay, so they're making a comic book about Lost now.
I was thinking predators.
Predators? Yeah.
Plural predators.
But then at the end, we get this bit about how, like, they're going to put them back in these chambers and have them heal extra fast so they can bring them back the next day. Basically, we have, like, a whole bunch of bloodshots from...
testing out, and all these bloodshots are simply to test out their new weapon.
Right. Okay. And so she just basically comes out and kills them every day. And
yeah.
They brought him in and thought he would be promising, like, really give her a run for her money. And he died pretty quick, but it's okay because he's going to be back next issue.
Yeah, he seems... I mean, yeah, he's the one that's like, I'm not going to... Of course, I wonder if they all started out that way. Like,
right.
Not going to give up, not going to be somebody's, you know, bait or prize or trophy. Like, I'm going to win. And some of them have been here at least 5 years.
Yeah. How did you feel about this?
I don't know. I did like it. I am intrigued by it. I don't know how much of a new concept it is, and I also don't know much about Bloodshot.
Sure. This series is kind of maybe getting a little bit too silly for my tastes. Like, this whole idea of, okay, well, let's bring in a Bloodshot from, like, every war, and we can have, like, our own little Bloodshot universe, and then we have the Bloodhound, you know, and then it's just like...
Why is the Bloodhound in there?
He's, like, the Bloodshot dog, I guess.
Yeah, why? How is that dog gonna test out their weapon?
I don't know. Maybe he came with one of the other ones, whatever.
Maybe.
But yeah, it just has like this lost feeling, and like there's this force field around the island, and they're being used to test out this weapon that looks familiar somehow. And then in the last issue, it's like kind of unclear how he even like ended up here. Like there was something happened, and then he just like randomly appeared here, and then
like predators.
Yeah.
That's what happens. Or I was thinking like Cabin in the Woods. I was thinking of movies.
Yeah.
But
yeah. So it's a little bit
where
weird.
It's just these higher ups that are just messing with everybody.
In the first few arcs, or the first, I guess like one or two, it was very like linear story, and there was like a lot of exposition on this guy, and then like new people would come into the fold, and he was like had a mission, so to speak, that he was following and stuff. This it's kind of starting to feel like the dartboard approach, where it's like, okay, well, what fucking weird thing can we just do next, and that'll be it. So maybe a little bit too comic booky. The thing I liked about it before was that it was, while a pretty standard like comic book form and whatnot, there was lots of good dialogue and monologue and narration and exposition and stuff like that, which doesn't really seem to be the case anymore.
Yeah, well, no, it was just all action.
Yeah, it's a big action scene.
Yeah.
I mean, we get little clues about who these people are just based on like how they look and the way they talk. Right. But it's all super cliche stuff. Like, I mean, the one that looks like he was in Vietnam is just in Vietnam. The one that looks like a Maoist communist is
Russian. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing American.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was fine, I guess. I don't know if it's really like the caliber of stuff that I prefer to read. I'm a little bit let down with my boy Jeff Lemire.
Well, I just wonder where they're even going with that as far as like consequences, because they can't technically die.
Yeah.
So they may the storyline in the dialogue kind of gives off this sort of sense of urgency, like we've been here forever, we need to get off of here, but also at the same time it's like you really have time. You really have time to like think it out, and if you die, you'll just wake up. Yeah. So
I feel like I know where it's going. Like he's looking for his girlfriend, whose name's Magic, and then he looks at this angel of death and sees like something familiar. So it's probably her, and he's probably gonna have to escape and like kill all these motherfuckers sitting in the office, and then find a way to make her like human again. Right. So. Yeah. If you're not going to add anything beyond that as far as like storytelling and nuance and whatnot, that's it. All right. Well, thanks for tuning in. So this will be your last week doing this for a while until Josh decides to go out of town again. Just fucking vagabond, I swear to God. Not to
nomad.
Tie him to this chair or something like that. So check back on Monday and then next Wednesday. And thank you again, Christina, for being a killer.
It's fun.
Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, podcasts, YouTube. Yeah, later.